Okay, our course about Python programming language. So before moving to programming language or Python, first we will see what is the language. Okay, language is a medium to share our idea or thought, or to share the information. So it is one type of medium which we can use to share the idea or information. Okay, to share the information, for example, one person is there and it is only know the English, and second person also is there who only knows the English. So there is a direct communication in between these two. Why? Because they are on they know the same language or the same set of rules of that particular language, so they can easily communicate. Next, what we have, for example, I have one person is there who knows only English, and we have second person who knows only Hindi. In that, the direct communication will not occur. In this case, we need one third person, or means we need third thing, which is called as a translator. This may be a third person, or maybe any application like we have Google Translator. We have, by using this third person, we can easily communicate with this one, but there is some delay in communication. So this is about language we have. So language is used to share the information or thought or idea, and to communicate with the other person. We use this language. Now what about the program or programming language? Before that, we will see what is the program in computer language or computer terminologies. For example, program is the set of instruction is there, or we can say commands. So before going with the set of instruction, we will see general overview of our computer system. For example, we have basically three components of our computer. What we have input is there, and we have processing, and then we have output. So in input, what we have, for example, in input we have our keyboard is there, mouse is there, maybe any a mic is there, or we can say audio command is there, or touch screen is there. In processing, we generally do the calculations and some logical things we have to do here. Some logic is there. In output, what we have in output, we have monitor is there, and the it will store as a file. We can store on hard disk, or we can store or we can take print out of this one, or we can say hard copy of this one, or else we can save this file in a database. Also, input may be our any file, text file, or any file, CSV file or Excel file, we can say take as an input also. So this is about input, processing, and output. So what is the instruction or command? For example, I want to add two numbers, just a simple set of instruction or command, 5 plus 3. So we have to enter these variables or whatever we have, these numbers. Then we have to provide operator, and we have to provide the number here. So it will take as an input here and do some calculation or perform some logical thing which is predefined in this computer system, and it will show the output, like it will show 8 here. So this is about this is one simple instruction we have. For complex instruction, for example, what we have mobile phone is there, and here is we have this dial pad or numpad. Whenever we type any number, uh, for example 98222, this mobile number is there, so it will take the input and show the output here, and after the output we can click on this call button, so it will call to that particular number. It will call to that particular number. So internally the developer is design our program, our this dial pad or application of this one. So it will take input, process, and it will show output here on a display, or this is one type of instruction. Second, what we have, this call function is there. So these also the set of instruction. So here first we will check if it is there is a network or not, then it will check there is a balance or not. This type of things we can do. So this is about program. So program is the set of instruction command. Like now next what we have, computer languages we can say, or programming language. So we use programming language to give the instruction to a computer to perform any specific task. Yes, please. Any question is there? You may type here. Sudha Raj Lakshmi. Any question is there? Okay, we have mainly three categories of this one. What we have, low level programming language, we have mid level programming languages, then we have high level programming languages. Okay, as per computer, computer only knows the binary. Binary means either it will know the 0 or 1s. Internally it is implemented as for example high voltage or low voltage, or present or absent, current present or absent. So based on this condition, it will know the what is the value of this one. If it is there is low voltage or there is no voltage is presented, it is considered as 0. If it is there is high voltage or current is present, or we can say in fiber optics we work on the this light. So if it light is present, it is known as 1. If it is absent, we know that it is 0. So computer only know this one, but as a programmer, as a developer, we should know the how to communicate with this one. So there are some languages like low level language, assembly languages there, and mid level we have C language, and high level we have all other programming language like Python, Java, JavaScript, C sharp we have. So Python is a high level programming language. So what is the meaning of here high level? As a high level programming language, we don't need to worry about, as a programmer, some low level activities like memory management is there, or the security related to our hard disk, or we can say how data is storing, and we don't need to worry about the hardware issues. Means what type of hardware we have. For example, is it Intel hardware is there, or AMD hardware is there, or any other Raspberry Pi hardware is there. So as a programmer, or as a high level programming language programmer, we don't need to do all these activities. Our Python software will take care of all these things. So this is about high level languages. Okay, so now let's see what is the Python. So Python is a programming language. It is a general purpose general purpose means we can develop near about all type of application in this program. There are some exception of this one, but we can develop all type of application in the Python. Then it is high level programming language. So as a high level programming language, we don't need to take worry about the some low level activities like memory management or security management or hardware related issues. Then it is an interactive language. For example, we have Python shell is there. If I type 8 plus 2, it will give the result immediately without writing any code. We can directly give the values. We will get the value here. So we will see what is the interactive in detail. Then it is object oriented programming language. And normally in object oriented programming language, we will deal with the classes and object, and by using object oriented programming languages or approach, we are getting some security and some what we have inheritance concept is there, or we are reuse our code. Okay, then it is a dynamically typed programming language. Dynamically typed programming language. So what is the meaning of dynamic? Before that, we will see what is the statically typed programming. For example, what we have C, C++, Java type of languages which are the statically typed. So what is the meaning here? For example, I want to declare one variable. For example, x is there, and I want to give the value like this one, x is equal to 10. So before using any variable, we should have to declare the variable, and also we have to declare its data type. So it is the integer data type, means numerical data type. We have this is as a numerical data type, or it is a integer data type. So as a programmer, we have to define this as a data type. So this is one thing we have to do. And second, what we have, if I want to change this x variable to any other data type, for example 50.50, which is a type of float, and it is a type of also one type of data type is there. So in this statically typed programming language, we can't change its data type we can't change. Once we declare it is as a integer, we can't assign any values to that variable. It will go the error. For example, I want to store one string here. We will see what is the string. String is the sequence or collection of character. For now, it is a sequence or collection of characters. So we will get the error here. As a programmer, we have to define this one, and we can't change the data type of this variable. In dynamically typed programming languages, for example Python, if we define a variable like this one, this is a valid. Internally Python software will convert this data type. As a programmer, we don't need to give its data type. As runtime it will assign its data or data type. And this is one thing, and second is we can also change this data type, for example 50/50. So we can also change its data or data type of this one. So this is called as a dynamically typed programming language. This Python and JavaScript we have as a dynamically typed programming languages. Okay, and it is also known as loosely typed programming languages. Okay, next what we have, Python is a interpreted language. What is the meaning of interpreted? So for example, I am writing code of particular language. I'm showing, for example, .py. So this is the Python file. We also called as a source code. Source code means we are typing code which is specific to that programming language based on its syntax or rules of that particular language. So this is about source code. So there are two methods to convert this source code to the machine source code or machine understandable code. So one, what we have, interpreter is there, and second what we have compiler or compilation. Compiler is there. So what is the difference between these two? For example, this is the compiler or compilation or compiled programming language, and this is interpreted language. Interpreter we can say. Okay, if our software is compiling this file at once, or means this whole file, if it is compiling at once, means whole file at once. So this is process is known as compilation. If our software is means translating, basically what is the meaning of compiler or interpreter is translator. These work as a translators. If it is translating our source code line by line, it is known as a interpreted or interpreted languages. So here, if it is compiling or translating our file at once, it is known as compiler. If it is translating our file line by line, it is known as interpreter. So the process of compilation is fast as compared to interpreter. So these are the two main differences between compiler and this interpreter. So what we have, C, C++, these are the languages, and here we have Python as example of interpreter. So Python is interpreted language. Okay, then who is the developer of this language? Who is the developer? Developer of the Python is Guido van Rossum, and Python publicly available on 1991. Okay. And how the name is came, there was one TV show or series on BBC TV which is have the name the Complete Monty Python Circus. So this was famous at that time, and so developer want to design a programming language which is easy to remember. So he took the Python from that Monty's Python circus. Okay. Next, what we have, while developing the Python programming language, developer took the advantages or features of or concept of other programming languages, features or concepts of other programming languages, like we have functional programming language, or we can say it is a procedural programming language. Procedural programming languages, like what we have C. So Python is basically based on uh, the syntax of C and ABC language. Next, what we have object oriented programming language. So that time the C++ was there. So he took the concept and features like classes and object. He took that concept and implemented in the Python. Next, what we have, scripting language. Scripting languages we have. So that time the Perl is available, and we have shell script is there. So he took the advantages of this one. And next, it is a modular programming language. So that time Modula 3 is available. He took the advantages of this one or concept of features of this programming. So syntax of Python is generally based on C and ABC programming language. And the original software provided by Python Software Foundation, which is responsible to design and develop Python releases or Python software, they give the original Python, which is known as C Python. So we generally work on C Python. There are many variations or flavors or varieties we have of this Python. Based on our requirement, we use that one. But the basic syntax and this rules are the same for all programming means varieties of this Python. Okay. Next, we will see what are the features we have using Python. So Python is simple and easy to learn. Simple and easy to learn and understand, and its syntax is very similar to English language. The syntax of this language is very similar to language. And second, for example, in other programming languages, for example C, if I took C to show this hello world string, this string, the collection of character, we need to write 5 lines. For example, we have to include headers there, then we have to give void main, then curly braces is there, then we have to type printf statement, and we have to close this one. So near about 5 statements we need to run this simple program. But in Python, we just have to write one simple statement, print, and we have to give the whatever we want to print. So we can do our coding or this coding in less number of lines. So it will take less number of lines to code in Python. Okay. Next feature what we have, it is free and open source. Free and open source programming language. So what is the meaning of open source? For example, it's source code available to download based on our means original source code. Source code means the file which we design in that particular programming language. So we can see what is inside the Python software, and based on our requirement we can customize or we can alter the this whole Python software. And as a free and open source, we don't need to give any licensing fee or any subscription fee to Python Software Foundation. We can easily without any charges we can download software and we can use it without any charge. And it is a high level programming language. High level programming. So as high level language, we have some advantages, and we don't need to take care about hardware and low level activities. And it is a dynamic programming language, as we saw. Dynamic programming language. Next, what we have, it is a platform independent language. What is the meaning of platform? Platform independent language. Independent language. For example, we have different type of platforms. Platform means normally it is considered as hardware plus software. Hardware plus software, and here I am talking about the operating system. So what we have Windows machine is there, we have Mac OS there, we have Linux or Unix operating systems are there, also we have Android operating system also there, or we can say iPhone OS is there. So these are the different platform or hardware we have, and this Python is platform independent. Means if I'm writing, okay, if I'm writing one of Python program in Windows, for example, I'm writing, and I can easily copy this code and run on other operating systems too. So this is called as a platform independent. Also it is portable. Portable means we can easily port our Python code to any other operating system. Also we can run our Python code in Android mobile or tab or iPhone, also we can run. There are some applications, by using that one we can run. Okay, so this is a platform independent portable language. Okay, like this Python is object oriented programming language. Object oriented programming language. So normally we deals with class and objects. By using this class and object, we are getting some functionalities like we are getting reusability and security. Okay. It is a interpreted language. Interpreted language means the execution of this one is going line by line. Line by line. And it is a it have extensive library. Extensive libraries there. For example, in other programming language, to work on a particular thing, we need to install third-party applications or third-party files. In Python, it is included by default. So we get near about all type of files in that one. Also we can install third-party applications also, third-party libraries also. In library, generally in programming libraries, we have different Python files are there to use to perform any specific task or to develop any specific application. Okay, and it is a extensive language, extensible or extensive language. For example, I have one code written in C. I want to modify that code, but I want to add some piece of code which is related to Python. By using this one, we can um, increase the performance of that particular application. Also it is embedded language. Embedded means, for example, one Python file is there, dot Python file is there. Now I want to include the C file in between this, so I can write C program in between the Python code. So this is about features we have. Okay, and one, okay, just 1 minute. It is multi-threaded language. Multi-threaded. For example, I have one program. I divided into two parts, and I want to run these two programs simultaneously or at a one time. So it will work, and it should work. In normal, what it will do, first it will run first program, then it will run second program. But by using multi-threading concept, we can easily run this program independently and simultaneously at a one time only. We can run both programs. Then it is a easy to maintain language. Easy to maintain, and it has a huge community or support. It has huge community and support. For example, I am working on some project, and I am stuck on a particular point. I can easily search that on internet. For example, I can search on GitHub, or there is one website, Stack Overflow, or any other website. We will search, and 99% chances are there there may be a support is available. So this is about Python. Advantages or features of Python. Next, what we have limitation of this one. For example, what are the limitation we have? So Python is slow as compared to other programming language like C, C++. Why? Because it is an interpreted language, so the execution of this one will go line by line. So it is slow as compared to this programming language, and we will get the runtime errors. Why? Because for example, I defined one variable. For example, this is a integer type of variable, and I need to do operation only integer data type, but at runtime user given the string data type, for example hello. So the operators which are working on this integer will not work on this string data type. So we will get the runtime error. So this is a Python generate the runtime errors. Then as compared to other programming language, the database support is not mutual or not completed like in Java we have. And Python is not made to do mobile computing or for example touch screen applications or mobile applications. So it is weak in mobile computing. We can design applications by using third-party application. Kiwi is there, but it is not meant to design the touch screen applications. And Python is not memory efficient language. Memory efficient language. For example, in other programming language C, for example, what we have, if you define any variable, for example integer data type, it has fixed memory value or fixed memory size is there. But in Python it is not possible. Why? Because at runtime you can change the values. But in other programming language we have some fixed size. For example, 2 bytes are there to store any this data type, integer data type. It is based on hardware and architecture of that OS. Let's say it is 2 bytes, but in Python it will take memory as possible, means large memory it will take. So this is the one disadvantage of Python. So this is about limitation of Python. Next, what we have, which type of application we can design in Python. Applications or software development related to Python. For example, we can design command line applications, or we can design graphical user interface applications like this icons, like this thing. In command lines only text based application will work. We can design system utilities. For example, I want to take a backup at some interval, or if I want to do some code, so it will take backup at the night or at a specific time. So this type of system utilities we can design. We can also do network automation in Python, or we can do or work on Internet of Things applications, IoT applications. Also we can work or develop application related to multimedia or animation or games we can design in Python. Normally the games which are do the real time things, so developer choose to prefer with C, C++, C# languages. But yes, we can design our games in Python also. We can do scientific applications in this or business applications. Next, what we have, we can develop website on Python, web development. And when I am saying the web development, so there are two approaches or two parts of this one. For what we have, first we have front end, or we can say user end. For example, what I am seeing on the website. So for to design front end, we normally use HTML, CSS and JavaScript, and it's a framework, Bootstrap and all these things. And back end, what we have, this is a front end, and in back end we have server and some database is there. A web server or file server is there, database server is there. To provide communication in between these two, we use Python as an intermediate line. So why it is possible to work on these different type of applications? So we have some packages. Packages means a collection of libraries, or we can say modules. Modules means that are the only Python files are there, only predefined some Python files are there. For example, to design to work on web development, we have the Flask, is there, and we have Django frameworks or packages of this Python. By using this one, we can develop our application. So the YouTube use Django as a backend means framework. Next, what you have, we have data science. We have data science applications, data science or artificial intelligence applications, or we can say machine learning applications, or natural language processing application. To do machine learning applications, we have different packages, like we have pandas, then we have a NumPy, then we have TensorFlow, and we have a different type to plot the graph. So these are the different packages or modules we have to import, and we can work on this pandas, NumPy or TensorFlow. We can design machine learning applications or artificial intelligence applications. Next, what we can do in web development, we can use as Python as a web scraping or crawling. So what is the basically meaning of this one? I want to get some information from any website. For example, I have some website, and at regular interval I want to get its heading. For example, I have some news website is there. After some interval, for example after every 10 minutes, I want to get its heading. So we can design this type of application using Python. So to design what we have this request is there, and we have beautiful so, and we have different this softwares to develop these applications. So this is related to applications we can design in Python. Okay, next what we have, Python versions are here. So in this course we are using Python 3. There was Python 2 also is there, but now we are using Python 3. Okay, so Python 3 also known as Python 3K or 3000 we can say. And for Windows machine we need to install that one. We need to install. For Mac OS or Linux, it is by default available. We don't need to install any Python software. In Windows also, if we are using Windows 7 or 32-bit operating system, the Python support only what we have, Python 3.8.10 is there. And if we are using Windows 11 or Windows 10, we can use latest Python software or this variation, for example 3.11.0 we have. So we can use this one also. Okay, so this is about Python variations. Then what we have different distributions or flavors of this one. Flavors or distributions we have. For example, the original Python what we have, it is known as CPython. Then what we have, Anaconda is there. To use a large application or large numerical data processing, we use Anaconda. We have PyPy is there. Then what we have, Python XY is there. So there are many variations, like JPython is there to run Java Python, or Jython is there. IronPython is there to run C# program. Based on our requirement, we go with this one. So this is about flavors or distributions or variations of this one. Okay, so many companies use Python, like YouTube, Google. They have many languages they use, but Python also among them they use that one. Like Dropbox, NASA, or many startup will use Python. Why? Because it is easy and we don't have to pay any. It is open source language. So this is about some theory related to Python and particular language. Okay, if you have any question, let me know. Any question is there? Hello, any question? Am I audible? You may means unmute yourself, or else you can type here in chat box. Because next we have to do the installation of this, and then we have to check the practical aspect of this one. So this is up to theory we have. Next we will see what is the installation of all these things. Okay, to install Python we need to type Python here. After this installation we will take the break of 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, the website of this Python is python.org, or we can say Python Software Foundation is there. So here we can get Python Software Foundation. So these are the people responsible to develop the website, this Python. For latest Windows we can use this Python 3.11, this one we can use, or for Windows 7 or Windows XP we have to use Python 3.8 3.8.10. up to this one only it supports. Okay, so we can download from here directly, or we can check the list of download options available. So this is the latest variation of Python, and it has support up to 2027 is there. Okay, for other Python we can use this. Here we can download that one from, if any specific variation we need, we can download. Okay, after downloading we will get the exe file as normal installation or download file. Here what we have, so this is about what we covered up to this. Okay, so after downloading the file we are getting the exe file extension is there. We just have to double click that one, and here we are getting some options. By default it will install to any user specific location. Here we can install here, or else we can install on the second option. What we have, this customize installation. So we need to select this customize installation, and we have to add Python 3. Whatever version we have, and click here. Next these are the optional things we have to do, and here we have to give the path. So this is the path we have to give. Why? Because in future we need programs, or if you design applications we need that location, so we have to remember that location. After it will normally download this software, and we are getting setup was successful as a message. How we can check if it is installed or not? In start we have this one, Python 3.11 is there, and we can click on this first on option, and we are getting the Python 3.11, and in which operating system we are running. So here we can type our application, and we are getting the result. So we have these are the three greater than symbol, and this whole software is known as IDLE shell is there. So this is a shell is there, and this software, or we can say this is the Python shell, this three dot greater than symbol known as the Python shell, and one cursor is blinking here, so which means it is ready to take the commands from the user. So this is not a Python shell. Okay, second option what we have here only, this one, this is also Python shell is there. For example, I can write any equation here and we are getting the result. To print anything we have to enclosed in either single quote or double quote, we have to type that. Like this we have, it is showing the result. And another way is to access this, we have to go with command prompt. We have to type Python here, so it will either we have to type Python or else we can type py also. So we are getting the same Python shell we are getting here. To exit from it we have two functions. One, we have exit function is there, or else we have quit function is there, or quit function is there. We can exit from this one. So this is mode is known as interactive mode, and second what we have normal mode. So this is about Python. So this is a online installation is there. There are many ways to do Python program without installing also. We can also search Python online and we are getting some online Python shells also. For example, these are this is the same as we are using our local system. So it is a Python 3.10. So here also we can do coding. So here also, or else we can use online compilers. We have to type program here and then we have to click on run, so it will give the result whatever there inside. So without installing also we can do the coding. Okay, so this is the second way. Third is if we have this Google ID is there, there is one product from Google which is known as Google Collaboratory. Yeah, normally it is known as Google Colab. So generally we use it for machine learning or artificial intelligence application, but it supports Python also. So here we are getting this one. For example, here this is known as shell. This particular block is known as code shell or shell, and we have to click on this one, this play button, and we will get the result here. So for example, we have to create a new here we have to create, for example, and we can save our code online and we can access anywhere on any device. For example, I am clicking on this one. We have to wait, then we have to connect to the Python this Google server, then only we can do. For example, we have to click on this connect is there. This is the text block, this is the text, and this is gray block is the shell is there. To run we have to just click on this one and immediately we are getting the result here. So this is the format of Jupyter Notebook. In Jupyter Notebook we can run our Python code online or in a browser. For example, we are getting the hello world here. For example, 1 minute, online Python notebook. So this is a Jupyter Notebook we have. We can run a different type of program here. to install this one, we have Anaconda software is there, we can install that one. So this is about here we can type our program. For example, if I click on this one, I am getting new shell 5 plus 10 like this one, and I have to run that one, or I have to run control enter we have to do. Here some example they have given. So this is about online running. Also we can run Python in Android operating system. So for example, Play Store, there are many applications to run the Python. So this is what we have, Python IDE. Here we have to type the Python code, whatever Python code is there, and we have to run on this button, it will run. So this is about different ways to run our Python program. Any question here? 5 minute break is there. I will be back in 5 minutes. If you have any question, let me know. Oh, okay. There are two ways to or two modes to define or develop Python program. One is interactive mode. Here we are typing our Python statements line by line, or one line at a time, line by line or one by one. For example, previously we saw in Python shell, what is shell is there, we are getting three greater than symbols. So here we have to type Python code or Python statement, for example 2. Immediately we are getting the 10, and it is also going again with the Python shell. So these three dots are known as shell, Python shell. Okay, so this is best for learning purpose, learning and checking the functionality of any particular module or any function. We can check the functionality. The drawback of this one is that we can't save the variables, or we can't save our program. We can't save. After closing this session, the all variables or all program is going to erased. For example, how we can do, for example, let's do one thing. Here I have to type cmd. If you are not getting Python, for example, I am typing abc here. If it is saying it is not recognized as internal external command, we have to check the path variable here, and in path variable we have to check if it is a Python 2 files are located or not. For example, we have to locate that 2 files by using here going with this PC and some advanced settings, and with the environmental variable. Here we have to give, for example, in path variable we have to give this Python 2 files, 2 locations we have to give. One we have to give script, second we have to give Python file location. After that we have to click on OK, and we have to close this session, this command prompt, then we have to run it. And so for example okay, bye. So this is a Python shell. Here we can type any code, and we are getting the result. We can do any type of coding here, but the thing is we are not going to save. For example, I am defining variable num is there, and to access the num variable we have to type num. Now after closing this session, for example, I am existing this code. Now I am typing python. Now I want to access num variable. So what here, there is no error, but here in this statement I am getting the num is not defined. Why? Because the scope of this one is only related to means up to the exist statement, or up to this session only. If I am closing this session, then I am getting this error. So here we have to this is only this it is known as interactive mode, and it is only suitable to learn this syntax of programming language and to check functionality. For example, I am importing one statement here, import math. I want to check math.py, for example. So this is used to check the some functionality or to do the programming, a small program. But in our production environment we don't use this one. We go with another method or another type. What we have here, we have this normal mode, or we can say interactive mode, normal mode, or we have this batch mode, or we can say it is a scripting mode. So here what we can do, we write a group of statement or more than one statement. These are the Python statement we have to write, and we have to save. Second option is to save with .py, that is as Python file. Okay, second we have to save. Third, what we have to do, we have to run by Python interpreter, like we are typing Python or Py. So these are the three steps we have to follow. But these okay, we will see what is the drawback of this one also. For example, I am typing, we have to go any normal notepad, any code editor, or we can type our Python code in any normal notepad also. So I want to print this string here, hello world, like this. I am saving by pressing Ctrl S, or by going this save and file here, like this. Okay, and I am saving it on desktop dot with the name demo.py. So for file is already available, so it is asking for overwrite. Now I have to go with Python. Either I can write Python here, and I will go, we have to give location here. For example, it is on desktop, then it should be a backward slash, then it should be name of that file, for example demo.py. So we can run like this one, or else we can go with like desktop, and we have to type py or Python and demo file, Python is there. So this is the second way we can do. For example, after changes we have to save file, and then we have to run again. So we are getting the same result whatever there in file. If I close this file, and I can easily run, because I am saving that file here on a desktop. This is one way. Second way is we can directly run or edit with Python software. For example, how so here some problems are there. For example, if code is more than this statements, so we are facing some errors. To do avoid this uh, problems, we go with IDs. So we can design in normal text editors, for example Notepad, or we can go with specialized software which is known as IDE, integrated development environment, which are the specific to design that particular software. Or we can go with code editors like VS Code. In IDs we have different type of IDs. For example, we have PyCharm ID is there, or we can use a spider ID, which is specific to this Python. So here what we get, for example, in our production environment we use this PyCharm ID or VS Code also. So this is the PyCharm. So here we are getting some additional functionalities, like we are getting some color coded of different component of this one. For example, this is here we are getting different. This is a keyword related to thing. These are the classes related to things we have, and it is auto completion. So if you write any program, it also provide the hint here below. So this is a PyCharm. We have VS Code also. For our code we go with another IDE. For example, here we are getting for our course we can use this ID, which is provided by our Python software. For example, this IDLE, integrated development and learning environment, is there. So this is about Python's default ID, integrated development and learning environment is there. So here from file we have to select new file, or we can open existing file. For example, I am opening file which is available on desktop. For example, this is a file. To run this, there are two ways to run. We have to go with here run is there. We have to click on run, and then we have to select run module is there. So we are getting the output here, or else I can press F5, key F5 is there, and I am getting the result. So this is enough to develop our Python code for our course. Or we can go with another ID which is known as Thony is there, which is a very basic Python ID, very user friendly ID is there. Based on our requirement we can download. For example, I am using Windows 11 or 10, I can use this one, or if Windows 7 is there I can use this one. Okay, so this is a normal ID. Here we are getting some features like for example these are the menu options we have. Next, here we can these are the menu options, and these are the shortcut menu we have. Here we can like write Python code, and by clicking on this one, for example run, we are running the Python code. So it will provide some features, like we can write our Python code here, and we can get the result here, or we can perform the operations here in Python shell. And for example, I am defining one variable x is equal to 10. So it is showing the which variable I have write in this session. So we are getting some additional functionalities. So either we can use normal Python software, but in this Thony ID we are getting some less versions of this Python. So this is Python 3.10, but in Python IDE we are getting latest one. So there is no much difference in between these. You can use anyone. So this is how we can run our Python program. There are two ways. One is what we have interactive mode. The drawback of this one, we can't save the files, and after closing, the all variables or statements are going to erased. Then what we have, normal or batch mode. Batch mode means we are giving the more than one line to a Python, saving as a Python file and running with interpreter. So we can run manually, or we can use IDEs to run that one. So this is how we can run Python code. Okay, any question in this one? Let me know, or else we move to the next topic. What we have, identifier we have. Okay. Now this is the from here we are going with the practical aspect of programming. So first what we have, identifier. So for example, what is the the word is came from identity. For example, we have different type of things, and we are giving the name to that things to identify that means that thing. For example, here in identifier we are giving the names, or we can assign the name to the variables, or to the function, or to the module, or to package, or to the classes. So we are just giving the name to the any variables or functions or module, package or class. For example, I am defining one variable num is equal to 10. So I am giving the variable name. So this is known as identifier. There are some rules to define the identifier. So what are the rules we have? For example, we only allowed some characters. What we allowed here in Python, we have alphabets. For example, it may be a capital A to Z or Z, or it may be a small case A to Z or Z we have. So any combination of this one we can take. Second, what we have, digit or number we have. Numbers we have, for example, any combination of 0 to 9. And only one special symbol is allowed in Python in a variable name as identifier, that is underscore. Okay, for example, how we can define. Okay, after all rules we will see what is how can we define. Second rule is that the identifier should not start with a digit. Should not start with digit or number. This is the second rule. For example, I want to create one variable, one num is not allowed in Python We can do num1 like this one, this is valid, this is invalid, or we can define num underscore 1, so this is a valid. Okay, third, what we have as a rule, it should not be from keywords or reserved word. Keywords, or we can say reserved word. So what are the reserved words? For example, these are the special words reserved by Python software, and it has some functionality or predefined functions they have. So we will see what are the keywords in our list of these keywords. Fourth rule, what we have in fourth rule, Python is case sensitive language. Case sensitive. Okay, it is case sensitive language. For example, this max, for example 10, is different from this max. So these are the two different variables we have. So in Python, this case means this small case and uppercase is matters. So these are the different variables in our Python. Okay. Next, what we have, this is a recommendation, means this is not a rule, but it is a recommendation that our identifier must be short and meaningful. For example, we can take x is equal to xyz as identifier name, but when we type our big program, then we are getting some confusion, what is the x, what is y, what is it. Instead of, we can write num1, num2, or we can write mobile number like this one, or we can like for start, we can write like this one, or mean is equal to 0 like this one. So by using these meaningful words, we can easily identify what we are doing with these variables. So let's see some example of this one. For this I am using Thony IDE. First we will see what are the keywords we have. For this we have to import keywords. Enter. Now we have to see keywords dot keyword list. So these are the keyword we have. We can't use these keywords as identifier name. Why? Because these are the reserved words, and here false, none and true, all three are in uppercase and all other are in lowercase. For example, I want to define one variable, pass is equal to 10. So I am getting the error. Why? Because pass is the keyword, or a class is equal to for example fun like this one. So I am getting error here. So these are the some reserved word which is have some meaning, which have some meanings in Python software. Okay, now I want to define one variable, num is equal to 10. So I am getting syntax error. Why? Because our variable should not start with a digit. We can give like this one, or else we can give like this one. So these are two different variable I have created. We don't have any like this, we can't create. We are getting we only have underscore as a underscore, as a special symbol. So this is about identifier. Okay, and these are the case sensitive. For example, this is the max having value 18. It is different from this max. Here in right side we are getting some variable list. We can easily distinguish between these two. So this is the max we have created and this is the max we have created. So these are different variables. So Python is case sensitive language. Okay, now next what we have, for example, if I am passing the row values, means original value without any variable, it is known as a literal or literal constant, we can say. For example, num I am saying num is equal to 25, like this one. So this 25 is known as a literal, the notation for constant value of some data type. So this is the integer data type, and we are providing the row values to any variable, for example 25.50. so this is this 2550 is known as a literal constant, we can say. So this is about our identifier rule and literal constant. Next, in tomorrow's class we will discuss what are the variables we have and what is the data type we have in this one. So if you have any question,